For more on what to expect tonight and in the days ahead in Chicago, Ed O'Keefe joins us. Ed, as I listed off the speakers, it occurs to me a contrast with the Republicans, who did not have many formers on their stage.
There were no signs of the Bush family in Milwaukee. Good to see you. Welcome to Chicago. Tonight, as we said, is all about President Biden. They're going to give him a big tribute, focus on his decades-long career, and then they're going to turn their attention to the future, with Harris at the top of the ticket. In a final push before the convention, Vice President Harris spent Sunday rolling through the battleground state of Pennsylvania alongside running mate Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. They stopped by a campaign office.
We're doing it together.
And rallied supporters in a wide variety of places while fielding questions about her campaign.
I very much consider us the underdog. We have a lot of work to do to earn the vote of the American people.
She also took swipes at former President Donald Trump.
Anybody who's about beating down other people is a coward.
It comes after Trump also campaigned in Pennsylvania over the weekend and tried to make his case on the economy.
We will make America affordable again.
But he once again veered into personal attacks on Harris's intelligence and appearance.
I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Riffs like that have Trump allies concerned about whether he can stay on message as Harris has made gains, most notably among likely women voters in a new CBS News poll.
If you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
Trump and Harris are both now racing to define what her administration would look like, as our new poll also finds more than a third of registered voters say they don't know what she stands for. She'll use this week in Chicago to try to answer those questions, as allies say momentum is in her favor.
You've seen the level of excitement and energy rising, and it frankly hasn't crested yet.
That excitement has thousands descending on Chicago this week. Security is tight as law enforcement prepares for large protests opposing the war in Gaza. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who will speak at the convention tonight, says his city is ready.
Protecting this city is my top priority, and I will continue to do that.
Protests started last night with about 500 people marching down Michigan Avenue. The police were there on foot and bicycle, making sure everybody was all right. More protests with larger numbers are expected in the coming days. A big one coming today. The coalition to march on the DNC starts around midday here, Tony, around the United Center.
You know, Ed, let's go back to Vice President Kamala Harris, because when you're in that job, you get a plane and you get a mansion in Washington, D.C., but there are no promises about your political future. She's going to have to, starting tonight, go out there and get it.
Yeah,
What's she need to do?
Well, you know, one of the most interesting findings in our poll, about 36% of voters say they don't necessarily know what she stands for, what she would do as president. That's a higher percentage than Donald Trump. So she's got to spend time this week, the whole party does, explaining again who she is, what she's about, what she would do. The poll also found, interestingly, the reason she's starting to close the gap. Those younger voters and voters of color are now starting to show up in numbers that suggest they can close the gap. So she's got to keep focused on them and what they're interested about, which is why you're hearing so much this week about the future. What will we do for you? What would this change in the country mean for you as you get older? You'll see a lot of focus on that as well. But, you know, more than anything, she is famous but unknown, right? A face and a name people know. Don't necessarily know her life story, don't necessarily know the work she's been doing the last few years or what she would want to do. That's what this week's got to be about, because it's a 4-day ad, essentially, for her, with the potential for a lot of news to be made as well.
Yeah, she's going to define herself, not let Republicans do the defining for her. Ed, thank you very much.